y'all.
You're kingfish, wild and free, from the desert to the sea. You're kingfish, don't forget, you just haven't got there yet. You just haven't got there yet. You just haven't got there yet. No, 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 no. Don't forget, no, no. Something's on your mind, and you're having trouble getting up, but space is required for those mountains that you climb. Sitting on the edge of something more, yes, more. Sitting on the edge of something more. You won't drown. That cliff is steep, you're jumping down. If you leave, if you slide, if you close your eyes and plunge, either way, you get wet. There's just no way around it. You just haven't got there yet. You just haven't got there yet. No, 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 no. Don't forget, no, no. Superstition has no doubt.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Firecrest Crew Evening at Firecrest. Can I be more redundant? No. We're having a wonderful night. Actually, we're having a arts and crafts fest. Hanging out here, making some paintings and everything like that. We have a wonderful artist coming up. Artist. When I say artist, I don't really mean art. I mean like art of the mind and logistics, logic, and everything Latin. Everyone, give it up for our wonderful comedian this evening, a recent inductee into the New York Friars Club, Mr. Andrew Heaton.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Arts and Crafts Living Room. It's a pleasure to be here in Bob and Noelle's living room. Really, really good to be here. I'm still kind of confused as to what I'm doing. It's Arts and Crafts and Cocktails Night. I've spoken to Bob about this a couple times, and I was like, wait, so is it Arts and Crafts or is it performance? And he was like, just know that we keep cocaine for you in the bathroom. And I was like, yeah, I know how Arts and Crafts works. I've done scrapbooking before. So you all are gallantly joining me on the couch. You're just paying attention to me, and I love you. Have you already done Arts and Crafts? Not today. So you're on the cocktail side. Yes. Okay, perfect. Good. What are you making over there? I'm making Christmas cards. Nice. Okay, you're not just going to send people Christmas cards. You're going to make them Christmas cards. Very nice. My girlfriend, who some of you met, bought Christmas cards. I have never done that in my life. I'm at the point where I'm getting save the date cards for weddings. Do you guys know those? Those make no sense to me at all. My friends will send me it's like a save the date card is like a warning that I'm going to send you a wedding invitation. Whenever I get those, I just call my friend and I'm like, I have a calendar. You can literally just text me and I'll put it in there. What are you working on, Noelle? Okay, nice. Oh, very nice. I like that skyline. Well done. And Kaylee, I think it was. What are you working on back there? Nice, excellent. I feel like I'm doing the most gentle crowd work imaginable by talking to. This is like if Bob Ross had failed. And what to do that? Well, I know your name's not Ashton Kutcher. What's your real name again? Rob, what are you working on? Nice. Good for you. Good for you. And how about you, friend? Nice. I like that. Good. Good. A very Transformer Christmas. Fantastic. It's good to be. I was out of the country for a while, so it's nice to be back in Texas. Not only am I back in Texas, I brought a foreigner with me. I'm dating a foreigner, you see. She's from Britain, that island. And I took her here, and it was not only fun to show her Texas, it was good because I don't know if you know this, everyone in the world hates Texas. Did you know this? Sandy, I love Texas. I love Texas, but here's my experience, because I've lived in the UK a couple of times now. When you're hanging out with British people and you get some cocktails in them because they're very repressed, but when you get them a little bit drunk, British people will go, listen, I like you. I don't normally like Americans, but I like you. And this is what I now do. I go, you don't like Americans? And they go, well, I don't care for Americans. And I go, African Americans? And they go, oh, no, I like them. And I go, what about like Asian Americans? They're fine, yes. Hasidic Jews? Yes, good. And I just go through everything and I go, who do you not like? And they go, well, obese white people that own guns and like Jesus and football and have very large trucks. I'm like, that's Texas. Just say Texas. You don't have to lump everybody else in. I like Texas though. I moved down here. I've been in Texas a couple of years now, and I've been traveling. I've been doing comedy in Dallas. Anybody from Dallas? Anybody spend any time there? Are you from Dallas, Sandy? You're from Plano. Have you been to Irving? He lived in Irving. That is the weirdest goddamn town, Irving. I'm not making this up. This is true. You can look this up in the Yellow Pages. There is an establishment in Irving called Condoms to Go. Oh, yeah. It's a chain. As opposed to what? Sandy, what is the alternative option besides getting your condoms to go? What? Exactly. But I did not know that there was, you could just like bang in the parking lot or something. The other, like, that's my second favorite weird advertisement that I've seen in this part of the country. The other one's in Enid, Oklahoma. I don't imagine anybody's ever been to Enid. There's this billboard in Enid that reads, "Can't read? We can help." Can you? Or are you just taunting illiterates, Enid? Because it seems like you're just taunting illiterates. Where are you two from, Austin? I am. You're from like born and raised? Yeah, Lake Travis. Nice, wonderful, good for you. One of the few. How about you? I'm from LA. You're from LA. How long have you been here?
I've recently decided that I'm going to stop defending myself, but I've been here for 3 years.
Nice. Okay, so first of all, let me say, I looked into this. Do you know where most of the people move to from Texas or from Austin? Texas, followed by Florida, followed by California.
My therapist.
Yes.
He was like, "You're not." People like to blame people from California. You're not even the main top three.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. Okay, so you're a you've been in Austin about as long as me. Great. How about back table? Are you all from Texas? Where are you from?
Seattle.
You're from Seattle. Okay. All I know about that is Frasier and depression. Depression and Frasier are the only two. And I think coffee, something about Microsoft maybe. Did I nail it? Did I just, do you feel really connected to me now, having thrown out all these things? Yeah? Rob, how about you? Okay, all right. So you're semi-local. You're Texan, yeah? And I didn't catch your name. Michael, where are you from? Santa Monica. Oh, hey, look. So no joke, and I say this as friends. I wrote a best-selling poetry book called Los Angeles is Hideous, Poems of an Ugly City. So if you want, there's a whole poetry book about what I think of that city. But if you have any relatives there that you want to irritate this Christmas, I encourage you to purchase said book. I'd be happy to cite it for you. So anyway, I took Kate around Texas, and we had to go to a Walmart at 2 o'clock in the morning in somewhere in North Texas. Has anybody been to a Walmart recently after midnight? Let me tell you about my experience going to a Walmart at 2 a.m. in Windham, Texas. The entirety of the people there consisted of me and an old guy buying a hatchet. That was it. Just one old guy buying a hatchet at 2 o'clock in the morning, which begs the question, thank you. Why are you buying a hatchet at 2 a.m.? What tree needed to be felled after midnight? Who at 11:30 at night goes, I'm going to cut down that goddamn tree and I'm going to do it before morning? That man's killed his wife. That is the answer to that question. He is an axe murderer who likes quality products at low prices for the American people, et cetera, et cetera. Speaking of killing, I did not. I feel like that would have been an odd thing to do, just at the checkout, like where Kate and I are getting our candy bars or whatever we were getting, and he's got out with a hatchet, and I just lean over and go, "You're not going to murder your wife, right?" Because if I did misinterpret that situation, it would have been weird. But no, I found out recently. Did you all know when the death penalty is exercised, they print the last meal. They put that in the newspaper. You can look that up. They publish the last meal. And a few months ago in Georgia, they put a lady down, and her last meal was chicken and Diet Coke. Diet Coke! It's your last meal. You don't have to worry about the calories. You could have as much as you want. You could eat cake. You could have milkshakes and things. You'd be just fine. Let's see. So I think right now is hunting season in Texas, right? This does not strike me as a hunting season crowd. Arts and craft and cocktails in South Austin on a Saturday night. This actually strikes me as the least hunting crowd possible, potentially including a PETA meeting. Let me share with you, this is what I think the rules should be on hunting. This is my single contribution to Texas state law. I think the rule should be you can kill any animal you want if you do it with your bare hands. If you can strangle a bear, that was a shitty bear. That bear should read some Ayn Rand, bone up on that. If you can strangle a whale, you get to be governor of the great state of Texas. Did you know it is illegal to go whale hunting in Oklahoma? Thank you. The Californian owns a map. She knows Oklahoma is a landlocked state, and there's no logical reason that we would do that. I don't know why we outlawed that, by the way. I think it's probably, my guess is that they were going to transport Shamu from California to Florida or something, and one of my cousins was like hunkered on an overpass with a harpoon, and they sprung into action and got rid of that. Okay, has anybody been to the Austin Zoo? I've not been to that yet. You wouldn't recommend it? How is it just not very good, or is it sad? Because the San Diego Zoo is off the hook, isn't it? Okay, nice. Yeah. So I'm going to make a pitch to you. I'm sure the San Diego, Oakland, and San Francisco zoos are wonderful. Far be it from me, Noelle, to besmirch the zoos of California. But I want to tell you, the greatest zoo in the world, in the history of mankind, is in Norman, Oklahoma. Little River Zoo, and I will tell you why. Little River Zoo, which I've been to multiple times, is composed entirely of animals rejected from bigger, better zoos. You want to pet a kangaroo? You can. Ours is blind. We have a lion that mauled a magician and a alligator with Down syndrome. It is the island of misfit toys when it comes to zoo animals. It's also where all the organ-grinding monkeys retire to. You know, like the those guys? They all retired to Little River Zoo in Norman, Oklahoma. And I went there one time, and it's not exactly Alcatraz. Like, this is not like high security zoo prison. And I went, what do you do when the monkeys escape? And they went, do you see that big monkey over there, Goliath? He gets out about once a year. And so what we do is we just leave bottles of schnapps around the park, and he passes out. And I was like, this is the greatest zoo in the world. That there's somebody, once a year, some guy at Little River Zoo has to go, honey, I know we were going to have dinner with the Sanders family today, but Goliath Shawshanked his way out again, and I got to leave schnapps around the park. Ruin that guy's evening. I got a dog recently. What was the name of your dog again? Cash? I got a dog recently named Wallace, and he is like 50% pet, 50% sneaky neighbor dog. So he's very energetic, and we're getting along well, but he's really energetic. And I called the shelter called me to check up, and they're like, how's he doing? And I was like, he's good, but he's really energetic. And they went, well, hey, here's an idea. Instead of putting his food in a bowl, what you can do is get his food and throw it in the yard. And then he'll look for it like a puzzle. It'll be engagement for him. And I went, okay. So following day, I come out in the yard, and I fling it into the yard, and my dog goes, the fuck are you doing? What? Like, if I took your cereal and threw it in the kitchen, you'd be mad at me. And on top of that, I love my dog. It's not a very smart dog. Wallace is not very bright. So when I fling it into the yard, he races into the yard and then goes, I lost it. I don't know where the food is. So now I have to, in the morning, go out and fling it. And then, I walk out in my yard and go, here's one. There's another one, Wallace. My neighbors think I am batshit crazy. Because every day they see me fling my dog's food into the yard. My dog gets really angry, and then I point it out to my dog. It's very difficult to feel intelligent while finding your dog's food in my backyard. I'm from Oklahoma, the Canada of Texas. Anybody been to Oklahoma? You been there? He was what? He was born in Oklahoma City. Okay. And Sandy, you been there as well? Nothing to do there. See, this is my point. When people haven't been to Oklahoma, if they don't holiday there as I do, I tell them, imagine 1956, and we're good. That's it. You get the whole thing right there. I did that joke a couple of years ago. I went, Oklahoma, the Canada of Texas, and this lady at the back of the room just started booing me. Just like, boo! And I was like, why are you mad at me? Like, are you from? And she goes, I am from Quebec. And I went, okay, well, you're from the Arkansas of France, so we should all be friends here. Everybody's fine. So I grew up there, but I spent my 30s, most of them, in New York. I lived in, nobody moved here from New York, right? We have California transplants, but we don't have any former New Yorkers. Did you live there for a while, John? You're from upstate. Okay. Upstate's beautiful. Upstate's beautiful. I lived in the city. I started out in Brooklyn on the corner of Hipster and Violent Death. If you had visited me when I lived in New York, if we exited my apartment, we turned right, there's an organic, grass-fed bicycle store and a bar where your dog can take microbrewing classes. And if you went left, you got stabbed. I ended up leaving because I didn't like direct eye contact being a prelude to murder. That weirded me out about living in New York. And I love visiting New York, but I know I'm not supposed to be there. I've got lots of New York friends. One of my friends, he's like a diehard New Yorker. And he's like, this is the greatest city in the world. We tell you how it is. If we think we don't like your shirt, we'll tell you it's a stupid shirt right to your face because we're direct and we're honest. And I'm like, yeah, that's what everybody else in the world calls being an asshole. And all of us are trying real hard to suppress that urge that you were gleefully supporting. I lived in Scotland for a while. My girlfriend lives over there. Man, those are ominous. Have you guys spent any time in Scotland? They always sound like they're going to murder you. Like, I love the Scots. They're wonderful people. But if you ever go to Scotland, you're walking down the street, you're like, hey, I like your boots. They go, hey, do you now? I like your jib. Perhaps you should walk down this back alley with me, meet some of my mates. I think they'd like you too. And then you go back there and they buy you pints. They're great. But they seem like they're going to kill you if you can understand them. Because Scottish people sound to me like Irish people drowning. Like, you talk to them and you're like, hey, I'm from Texas. And they're like, oh, splatty, flatty, like, plant, like, a little sight. You're like, well, I don't know what that is. There's this whole weird, like, I have figured out the essence of the Scottish accent. I can teach all of you to do a Scottish accent this evening. The essence of the Scottish accent is just the sound of an old man getting out of a couch. That's the whole thing. Can one of you give me a word, just any word, maybe something from a kitchen or a garage? Sand mixer. Okay, watch this. Sand mixer. See? You just sand mixer. Oh, kettle. As long as you're coming out, you do it well. They've also, the thing that throws me off when I'm over there is that they speak English, but the words have different meanings. Did you know this? So, like, you probably knew this. I didn't know this. The word fag is very different in a Scottish context than in an American context. In America, fag is an outdated, pejorative word that we do not use because we have gay friends. We want to make them feel comfortable, right? In Scotland, fag means cigarette, which I did not know. So when I went over there, my friends would go, hey, Andy, hold my pint. I'm going to nip out back for a fag. And I'd go, okay, I support you. I'm just going to sit here and be quietly heterosexual, but good luck having sex in the alley behind our pub. I wish you and the fella the best. It's fun. I like it. I spent a little bit of time in Australia, which I am a big fan of. Australia is awesome because Australia is the closest thing to Oklahoma I have ever been to outside of Oklahoma. Like, I don't know if you've been to Australia. Have you been to Australia, Noelle? Right? Where did you go? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, well, but like Australia as a country, though, it's very much like Oklahoma. It's flat, big, kind of boring. There's a lot of rednecks. They're a little homophobic, but they're friendly. They'll fix your car. Like Perth, Australia is Waco plus kangaroos. That's it. It's just regular. It's just Texas and Oklahoma, except their animals are perverts that live in pouches. That's the only difference between them and us. They're really laid back, though. They are a really laid back people. I think because they, from the get-go, they know that their country's trying to kill them. Like, if you wake up every day and you might have spiders in your boots and things, you just make peace with death. Like, the first time I was over there, when I was staying with my girlfriend and her mom, and her mom, by way of introduction, goes, right, if you go in the backyard, you need to wear shoes because there's snakes. And if you get bit, you'll die. I got bit and I died, but they brought me back, and now I wear shoes. And I was like, that was a great story. Thanks so much there. My family is all in Oklahoma or prison. Those are the two locations where the Heaton family is currently nestled at. I've been able to see the whole family the last couple of months. I saw my dad. He's doing well. He had cataract surgery. So he can now see much better than he could. And that's good because he didn't know he had cataracts for 3 years. It just kind of crept up on him. So for 3 years, every day my dad would open the door to the house and go, overcast again. But now he can see, so that's good. Apparently that runs in the family. My grandmother had eye problems. We were talking at Thanksgiving, and Dad brought up, he goes, oh, Grandma Bickle, tough old bird, Grandma Bickle. Went blind at 92, quit driving at 94, died at 98 years old. I went, can we go over the chronology on that real quick? She went blind at 92, and she quit driving at 94? That sounds rather like she was driving blind for 2 years. And I thought he was going to correct it and go, oh, I got that right. No, he went, well, you got to remember, she grew up in Alva. She knew where all the turns were. So she just memorized how to get to the grocery stores. So for 2 years, Edna Bickle was getting into her car going 5, 4, 3 to Main Street, 2, 3 grocery store. What I want to know, what compelled her to stop? If you've already driven blind for 2 years, what makes you give up driving at that point where you're like, well, now truly it's unsafe? Like previously I thought I could drive safely while blind, but now with a gimpy foot because of gout or whatever it was she had, I can't do it anymore. My grandpa's not blind. I went and had lunch with him recently. We had lunch at the gas station near his house. That's his favorite restaurant. And we were both eating chili. And this other old guy came up, and he starts trying to talk to my grandfather. And he goes, Bob is my grandfather in this scenario. So he goes, Joe, how are you? And he just stares at me, doesn't acknowledge this old guy. Is this your grandson? Grandpa just keeps eating chili. He does not make eye contact with this man at all. He does not acknowledge him. Holidays are coming up. You going to be here for Christmas? Nothing. Grandpa's just staring there. Okay, good to see you. And he wanders off. And I go, the hell was that about? And my grandfather goes, I couldn't remember his name, but I didn't want to be impolite, so I just pretended I couldn't see him. Which is a really novel way to deal with that. I can't remember your name, so I'm going to pretend you're a ghost. Which is also a mean thing to do to a man in his 80s. That guy's probably wandering around cemeteries right now, thinking about girls he never kissed, worried that he might actually be dead. When Grandpa got put in a convalescence home, I was worried about him, so I went to go check on him, and I was like, Grandpa, are you doing okay? He was doing okay. Do you want me to bring you anything? By which I meant like a Louis L'Amour novel or something. And he went, yeah, you could bring me a couple things. Some Southern Comfort. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll bring you booze. That's cute. And he goes, some girly magazines. And I was like, yeah, I'll bring you porn. That's weird, but I'll bring you some porn. That's fine. Anything else? And I'm not making any of this up. He goes, if you could bring me a gun with blanks. And I went, yes, correct reaction. I went, I've already committed to bringing you porn and alcohol. Why do you want me to bring you a gun with blanks? And he wanders over to the window, and he gets all cute and old and stuff. And he goes, I'm so bored here. And I look out the window, and I can see the hospital across the street. And they all look so bored, too. And I just thought, if I had a gun with blanks, I could indiscriminately fire it out the window, and it'd be kind of an interesting day for everybody. And I went, that would not be a quiet day in Lake Wobegon. That logic is unassailable. It would be a very interesting day in Alva, Oklahoma if Joe Heaton started fucking shooting blanks out the window. And so I was like, I go talk to my uncle, and I'm like, all right, I think I know where to get Southern Comfort and a Playboy. I don't know where to get guns with blank bullets in Alva, Oklahoma. And he's like, don't get your grandpa a gun. He's been planning a hostage scenario for 6 months. Grandpa was apparently going to throw his grandson under the bus to escape this place. We're going to Shawshank his way out, have some guy have to call in and go, oh, honey, sorry, I can't make it over the Sanders. The Joe Heaton got out again. So yeah, that was a fun grandpa moment. So his solution to not remembering names is to pretend you're a ghost. And it made me realize I myself am not very good at names. Like, I'm really not good at remembering names. I've already forgotten your names. I apologize. And I was thinking about this the other day. Why do I not remember names? And I think it's because I don't give a shit. I think that's the actual reason behind it. Like, you meet somebody, hey, what's your name, Bill? I don't care. This is a formality I had to go through. I'm not going to remember this. I'm thinking about groceries right now. Do you ever have anybody tell you when they recognize you, they go, I can't remember your name, but I remember your face. I'm good at faces. I'm good at faces, but I'm bad at names. You've all heard that? The hell does that mean? I'm good at face. Like there's some kind of autist. Like they've got creative abilities. I'm good at faces, but bad at names. That literally means I have the unique ability to identify things I've already seen as things I've already seen. You're just bragging about a lack of head trauma. That's all that's going on there. Let's see here. Grandpa's in his 80s. I'm about to turn 39. I'm going to turn 39 next month. And my friend, my youngest friend, is about to turn 29. And she's freaking out about that. I'm not really that worried about being 39, but she's very worried about being 29. And she goes, oh, I'm going to be old. I'll be 30 soon. I'll be old. I won't be fun anymore. And I go, no, you're missing this. 30, I have no idea what age you all are. You're like in your 20s maybe? I don't, or your early 30s maybe? Are you? Okay. I look like a linen salesman and Abraham Lincoln, so I just look much older than you. It's harder. Then back me up on this, right? 30's not when you quit being fun. 30's when you quit pretending to like things you hate. That's the thing about being 30 that I'm trying to communicate to my friend. Like, Heaton, want to go clubbing? Fuck you, no. Do I want to go dry hump strangers in an epileptic sweatbox with no parking and overpriced drinks? No, that sounds awful to me. Want to do shots? No, I don't want to do shots. No, here's the problem with shots. You can't do shots in moderation. Like, you all have been drinking cocktails, right? You could have a cocktail. You could have half a cocktail. You wouldn't even have to finish it. You could have two cocktails. You can sip that. Shots, you don't do just one. No one in the history of mankind has ever gone, everybody, let's all do one shot of tequila, then go home and read our Kindles. It doesn't work that way. So I'm about to be 39. When I was 19, I learned not to mix beer with wine because you get a hangover. And at 35, I learned don't mix scotch with back pain medication because you black the fuck out. You just black out and wake up vacuuming. It's a very strange experience. Apparently, I'm very clean when I black out. You know what teenagers are doing? I read about this in The Guardian. Teenagers, they're taking these shots of vodka, and they hold it up to their eyeball like this, and they cock it back and absorb the alcohol through their occipital lobe into their brain. We're all on the same page here. This is a ridiculous thing to do, right? Like, how many members of your family need to be devoured by a bear in front of you where you can't just wait 30 seconds for a regular drink like anybody else?
That's how you beat up the bear.
That's right. Exactly, and then you become governor. Thank you, Sandy. I think part of it is just that teenagers are dumb. That's my opinion. Teenagers are dumb. And I think they're really too attached to their phones. Has anybody tried to take a phone from a teenager recently? You have? What was the context?
My little brother's just always on TikTok in any social situation, so sometimes I'll just be obnoxious.
Yeah. Good for you. I think that they are too attached to that. Like, in the defense of teenagers, like, hold on, I'll back up. I feel like if a teenager loses their phone, that is more important than like an Amber Alert. But also, yeah, so I used to be a substitute teacher until they asked me to stop, and the rule at the school I worked at was you could have a phone, but you couldn't take it out during class. If you took it out during class, the educator had to confiscate it. And so one day this kid starts texting in class, and I go, come here, give me your phone. I'm going to put it in the desk, and I'll give it back to you at the end of the day. And he starts crying. He goes, Mr. Heaton, what if my friends need to get a hold of me? And I go, I don't know, you're 12. Everyone you know is in this room. They could just Bobby, they could just shout to you. Is the president going to call you, Bobby? Is your wife going into labor? But then I lost my phone and I freaked out. If anybody lost your phone, anybody ever gone through that experience? It's terrifying. Like, I'm making fun of these teenagers, but you lose your phone. It is terrifying. I didn't have my phone for 4 days. Do you know what happened? Nothing. Absolutely nothing happened. Nothing happened. I missed out on nothing other than my mom called to let me know the IRS had written me a letter. That's it. Because it turns out I'm not that special. And I have great news. Neither are any of you. Don't get me wrong. You're all really nice people. Bob's a great guy. I'm just saying, if someone has to call you right now, it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be a good thing. If I drive home later and I get a call from Saul, and Saul goes, Heaton, thank God you picked up. Keira Knightley's at my apartment, and she looks super emotionally vulnerable, and she wants to talk about that's never going to happen. That's never, if somebody calls me at 2 o'clock in the morning, it's going to be because I got to pick somebody up from the airport or bail somebody out of jail or help another congressman bury an intern, something like that. It's not going to be fun. Oh. All right, let's see here. We did a little bit of political stuff with the death penalty. Should we talk about religion? You want to talk about religion for a minute? Let's talk about religion. I feel like that'd be a good thing to do. So I'm an agnostic. Do you guys know what agnostics are? Thank you very much, Rob. That is the best response I've ever got to that. Because, like, usually it's just dead silence, and then just one person at the back will tepidly applaud. So, like I liked that answer. If you don't know the term agnostic, an agnostic is an atheist who's decided not to be an asshole about it. So that's what I am. I'm like, I'm not sure about it, but like, you can be Mormon, that's fine. I don't care, right? I think that joke's actually making fun of atheists, right? Like, cause that. Right, noting that, I had a guy come up after a show one time, and he went, if you don't believe in God, what's to stop you from raping and killing people? And I went, is that what you would do? You're telling me the only thing stopping you from wanton murder and pillaging is Lutheranism? Like, I've never woken up on a Sunday and been like, well, I don't think there's a prime mover, so I'll lay waste to this village. Just go back to sleep. That's the deal. Like if you believe in God, you get an afterlife. I get to sleep in on Sundays. That's the deal. I don't have any desire to hurt anybody. Was anybody from Houston? I don't think so. No. You've been there? Okay. You live there. So Houston has different zoning, right? This is so wonky, I'm sorry. But Houston has different zoning than the rest of the country. You can get these weird combos that don't happen anywhere else because they don't have the same zoning, right? So a few years ago in Houston, they had a strip club open up across the street from a church, which doesn't normally happen. And on Sundays, the church would pray that God would burn down the strip club. And it got struck by lightning, and it burned down. And so the strip club sued the church for invoking an act of God, which had to be the best trial ever. That had to be the most awkward cross-examination of the minister there. Father, did you think prayer was real or symbolic when you prayed that? Remember, you're on the hook for $300,000. All right, I think I'm gonna wrap up here in a second. Huh? That camera. Oh, I'm wrapping up to that? Great. Okay, cool. Hello, online listeners. All right, so we're gonna do this. I really like lottery tickets. Did anybody buy lottery tickets when it got really, really big? You guys did? Actually, Rob did not. You did, Michael. Nice. Okay. Lovely. You bought one for your mom? Did you give it to her before the drawing? Like, did she get to have the moment, or did you just give her a dud lottery ticket? Lovely, lovely. Very nice, very nice. I like that. I'm rooting for you. Kaylee, you bought a lottery ticket? Nice. Good, good. John, you did not buy a lottery ticket. Okay, all right, I respect that. I view lotteries basically as my 401k. That's like that is my retirement program. Normally when I'm doing comedy clubs, I go around the room and try and figure out what the retirement plans are, and I'll be like, you guys look like 401k people. But like today, I'm getting very strong like Bitcoin and/or buried treasure in the backyard NFT vibes from y'all. I am a lottery ticket guy. I really like buying lottery tickets. I'll tell you why. Every time you buy a lottery ticket, you are saying, fuck you to the laws of probability. 32 million to 1? I accept those odds. I think I'm that special. And so are all of you. Gang, this has been very fun. Thanks so much for having me. I've been Andrew Heaton. Thanks for letting me crash your arts and crafts party. Thanks.
Everyone give it up for Andrew Heaton. I don't know. You know, you always have to walk somebody up.